So, picking up where we left off, we had applied the Saphir Renovateur and we had let them sit overnight. I actually let them sit for about an hour, and then I got impatient and I applied the light brown cream polish and I let that sit overnight. Then what I did was I applied some neutral wax from Petaware, which is a different kind of wax. It's not as thin as a Saphir. It's they call it a handmade wax. It's a pasty wax, and I applied that. I applied it with my fingers, and I moved on to be able to apply it and brush it in. And what I found was really important during the process was to use a pig's hair or a boar's hair brush. I have the brush that's a lot thinner, and I'll include a picture of it in between the videos here. But that brush was able to get in between the pebble grain really, really well and build up a shine before I wanted to do the finishing. Now what you see in the video here is I'm starting to do some burnish. That burnish is with dark brown wax. So now I've done a lot of different colors when I'm burnishing a walnut shoe. Sometimes I'll go with a mahogany, sometimes I'll go with Hermes red, sometimes I'll go with green, like a forest green. Today I decided to do dark brown because what I'm really looking to do is I'm looking to antique the shoe and make them look like they're, instead of brand new, like they're old. So now I like to do this with wax and not with the creams because the creams are much harder to remove, and I don't want to get into a position where I need to strip the shoe. It's really easy to strip just wax, so and I just use a little rubbing alcohol and a light touch and I can get it off. So this gives me the ability to have something that I can play with over time, and I can develop the patina as dark or as light as I want. In a follow-up video to this, I'll actually show a pair of shoes that I burnished with mid-brown instead of with dark brown, so that you're able to see it. Those are my Crockett and Jones Durham. So I believe the next video I'll release is going to be a shoe battle between these and those, since they're both pebble grain split toe derbies. So in any case, what I'm doing now is I'm really focusing in on how to bring out a high shine against the pebble grain. And I find that the best thing to do is to do it by finger touch first. And I did this before I started filming. I did a finger touch with the dark brown, really worked it in until I had a smooth surface on the toes. And then what you see me doing here is I have an old dress shirt which I cut into strips and am using as a polishing cloth, and that is what I'm using in order to be able to really build out the shine. Now I've got an ice cube that's in the tray, which you can barely see in this frame, and that is going to be what I'm going to use in order to add the water. So as the ice melts, it becomes damp. So you just, like I'm touching the wax there, I just touch that ice cube, and I'm able to, just get enough water, which is very little, onto the rag. Now the downside is that if I do it too much, then the rag becomes impacted, and it's hard for me to continue, and I either have to move to a different part of my finger in order to do the polish, which is what I generally do because I'm too lazy to take the rag off, or I have to take the rag off and start in a different place. Now here you can see as I work that pebble grain in, and what's nice about these is that the toe is long, and I'm also doing the heel. But as I work the toe, I'm able to really kind of use a little bit of light pressure and able to just keep that smooth. Now on the heel, the pebbles are much bigger, so I have to have a totally different strategy for this. And at this point, and I'll explain that a little later, for right now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to darken the heel a little bit here and a little bit there. So that's it for the voiceover. I'm actually going to turn it into music now, so you don't have to listen to me, and hopefully you find this beneficial. So, just take a look at the shine here. This is pretty good. I got some coloration going in the back, but blended it in so it doesn't look so bad. Just trying to build that out. On the other shoe, got the shine in the front. Is actually pretty good. In the back, I haven't done anything yet. Now, pebble grain is exceptionally difficult to work with because, so I put a little bit more wax on, because in order to actually get a shine, you actually have to smooth out and build the wax in between the pebbles. But that's not really what I want to do. I want to darken the pebbles, but I don't really want to build it in so that it's a glossy piece. Now the toes are stretched a little bit tighter so the pebbles are not as three-dimensional. In the back though, they're not. So what I'm doing here, and I just, by the way, I have an ice cube there. So I touch the ice cube, that way it's nice and cold water, and then I just work it in. Over and over and over till I get a nice shine. So it's hard to get it quite right. Takes time. Like with all things shoe care, you really get out of it what you put into it. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to provide this antiquing look, but I want it to look more natural. You know, I don't want it to be very apparent, and I like to do it with wax, not with creams, because if I change my mind, then I just remove the wax from the surface and I can start over. So you can see now I'm starting to get a little bit of a shine on it, and what I got to do is I got to make sure that I get the part of the cloth on it that doesn't have a big buildup of wax, and then I slowly put wax back, but I really buff it with this part of my finger. And you can see there, this is a pretty good basic shine on the back. So we're ready to wear them now. The shoes I think came out pretty good. They've got a really nice antique look to them, but not harsh. And I wanted to make sure that they really just are something that I can incorporate into my collection as another classic split toe with these great pebble grains and rubber soles. So here we go. We're done.